There's 2 more levels down there. Watch your head. Boston Public Library.
Cool. It was cool.
Really cool.
We're the Farnsworths. We're working on our 5th year of full-time living in our RV as a travel nurse family. Come along with us on contract number 14 in Worcester, Massachusetts as we explore beautiful New England this fall.
It's nearing the end of the contract. You know, that moment where it's like you're almost sightseeing out. I don't know, travel nurses, if you know what I'm saying. We have some stuff we have missed in Boston that we don't want to leave this area and not see. So we are headed back into Boston for another day trip, and we've opted not to take the commuter train. Instead, we are going to park in a parking garage and then take the subway and the ferry today, which should be really fun. Glad that I'm not driving. You are a saint.
On our last visit to Boston, we visited several sites along the Freedom Trail, including Paul Revere's home, the Old North Church, Old State House, the site of the Boston Massacre, and Faneuil Hall. This week, we're off to see the north half of the trail as we check out the USS Constitution and Bunker Hill Monument, with a little side trip to the Boston Public Library.
Take the ticket.
No full-size trucks. No vans. It does feel like an airport a little bit. Hat one is cool. I also like this one, the New Bedford one.
The New Bedford one was neat. In 1794, Congress authorized the construction of the first 6 warships. These warships became the United States Navy. Each of the 6 was built at different seaports along the eastern coast, and of the 6 ships, the USS Constitution is the sole survivor, making her the oldest commissioned warship still afloat. The ship earned its nickname Old Ironsides after a victory against the British in the War of 1812. And today, about 10 to 15% of the ship is still original wood from the 1700s. Surprisingly, not only is the ship still afloat, but it is also taken out to sail for special events. In fact, just 2 days after we visited, Old Ironsides celebrated its 225th birthday by setting sail in Boston Harbor.
There's 2 more levels down there. Watch your head. Gotta be careful down here. These are lieutenant cabins.
National parks
and teach others what I have learned.
All
right.
Good job,
Aaron,
guys.
Chloe, congratulations. You have finished Boston National Historic Parks Junior Ranger program. Here are your very fancy wooden badges.
Wow.
Alright, so we got our Junior Ranger badges, and now we're heading over to the USS Cassin Young. Unfortunately, today, it has been shut down because it was taken back over by the Navy today, which is completely their right. It is on loan to the National Park Service, so they can take control of it whenever they want, and today happens to be one of those days. So we're not allowed to walk on it, which is a bummer, but we're gonna go see it and take some pictures. There's so much to see.
Let's go see.
This is,
Clebs, come on.
I'm glad we came here on a separate day. There's too much to try to cram it all into one single day with the rest of the Freedom Trail.
The Charleston Naval Shipyard is fun to walk around. Back in the early 1800s, this was a huge shipbuilding town, and dry docks were built to bring in ships for repair. This one is still used to repair the USS Constitution and the Cassin Young.
We are at one of the 3 dry docks that they built specifically for ships that are coming in to get repairs. And so what they would do at the end of here is they would open the little water gates at the end of the dry dock over there, and that's where the water would come in. Then there's a gate that they open over there, and then the ships come in once it's all filled up. After that, they pump all the water out of the dry dock so that the ships can be worked on, and then once they're done, they let it back in, the boat goes out, close the gate, pump all the water out, and then you're done.
Although it wasn't super close by, one thing we didn't want to miss while we were in Boston was a trip to the public library. There are plenty of ways to get around Boston, but one we hadn't tried yet was by boat. Could have Ubered or taken the bus to the library, but part of the fun of visiting a big city is taking different kinds of public transportation.
That's definitely an old dry dock. We gotta get off and go find the subway.
Okay, we're heading down into the subway so we can catch the blue line to the green line to go check out the library. This was on my list, so this is totally for me.
Chloe, you're with me.
The Boston Public Library was the first large free municipal library in the United States. Today, with over 24 million items, it is the third largest library in the US, behind the Library of Congress and the New York Public Library. Bates Hall, the iconic reading room from the second floor, is absolutely stunning. It was so quiet you could hear a pin drop, and there were proctors in suits walking around making sure people stayed quiet. The hall was named after Joshua Bates, who in 1852 donated $50,000 for the library's establishment and another $50,000 for the purchase of books. He was the first major benefactor of the BPL and insisted that its services be free to all.
Well, I'm thankful that my family humored me so we could come see the Boston Public Library.
Cool.
It was
cool.
really cool. Bates Hall was amazing. It was so cool. The Commonwealth requires the education of the people as the safeguard of order and liberty.
After a quick subway ride, we're back on the Freedom Trail. This is Warren Tavern. It's one of the most historic taverns in America and visited by famous patriots like George Washington and Paul Revere. We had hoped to have time to eat there, but had to settle for a few photos instead.
Okay, well, I wanted to have time to go to Warren Tavern, but unfortunately, everything today took longer than expected, which is pretty much normal. Instead, we are walking up to Bunker Hill Monument. The museum portion of it is already closed for the day, but we visited the Charleston Navy Yard Visitor Center, so we already did our Junior Ranger badges, thankfully. Whew. Going up a hill here. This is our third trip into Boston, and it has been a fun one. Just about ready to wrap it up.
Boston has been one of our favorite cities in our travels across the US. In our 3 separate visits, we were able to see the city by bike, jeep, train, boat, subway, and even Kristen and the kids were able to see it by air when they flew out to Kansas City.
The nice thing is if you get turned around, you just gotta follow the brick line. You don't need Google.
And that wraps up Boston.
We visited the Harvard and MIT campuses, 10 historic sites along the Freedom Trail, the Boston Tea Party Museum, and the Boston Public Library, and several parks. We even got to experience an exhilarating coastal storm in which we got absolutely drenched running back to the train station. Next week, we're taking you with us to southern Vermont during peak leaf season. You won't want to miss the amazing colors. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you out there.
And that's a wrap on Boston, everybody. See next time.
How many steps did you do?
I did 255 Duncan. 12,185.
Nice.